What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for another match preview. Well, I was about to say Spurs go and play Leeds at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Sunday, the 2nd of January. Well, I hope we do anyway.
Yeah, honestly, against Fulham, you're like, the Premier League doesn't stop, and it stopped. Yeah. Stopped for us for a bit. But yeah, hopefully we do get to play this game and it doesn't get put on hold. At the moment, it's going ahead.
Yeah.
That's all we know at the moment.
Yeah, but a very, very happy new year to all of you. Hopefully 2021 brings a lot more luck than 2020, that's for sure. But let's get into the match preview. It's Jose Mourinho against Marcelo Bielsa, Tottenham against Leeds, which is going to be a very, very tough game. Leeds are very... I was going to say Leeds have had a very good start to the season, but it is very hot and cold from Leeds because sometimes they're smashing teams. The other week they got battered from Man United 6-2. They were 4-0 down after 20 minutes.
When they lose, they tend to get battered.
Exactly,
that's the truth.
And I think that maybe the way that Marcelo Bielsa plays and the way Leeds play and set up might play into our hands a little bit.
It's not just a conflict of Tottenham Leeds, it's a conflict, or Mourinho Bielsa, it's a conflict of philosophies, isn't it, in this game?
Yeah.
Very, very different philosophies. Bielsa is kind of Pochettino learned a lot from Bielsa, didn't he, in the way he played the high intensity press, quick passing, controlling possession.
He learned a lot from Bielsa, Pochettino.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of
Bielsa's disciples, they like to call it.
Yeah, exactly. And Guardiola as well learned a lot from Marcelo Bielsa, one of the most famous coaches around, even though in his own personal career he actually hasn't won too much, which is an odd one, but people have learned a lot from him, and his Leeds side have definitely been one of the entertainers this season, scoring bucket loads of goals. They've scored 30 goals, but they've also conceded 30.
Yeah.
So they really do go through it. It kind of fits and starts this season. When they're on it, they're hot on there, and they're fresh and they're dynamic and they're hard to deal with. But if you catch them cold and you sit deep and they leave a lot of space in behind,
look at their two last contrasting results: 5-0 against West Brom, and then a couple of weeks before that 6-2 against United. So
and then before that 5-2,
exactly.
They beat Newcastle 5-2, and they lost to Palace 4-1, and they lost to Leicester 4-1, and they beat Villa 3-0.
So they don't really change their style of play for no one. They kind of stick to their guns. They know how they like to play, and they go out and play it.
Exactly.
And they're true to their word, let's be honest, because Bielsa, he knows how he wants to play the game, and he does it to perfection sometimes, but he does get undone a lot.
If you can definitely set up your team to outdo Leeds, and a number of decent teams have done that. And I think it goes to show most teams have beaten them by big scorelines. Man United, Leicester, or maybe Crystal Palace. These are teams that genuinely like to be a bit more on the counter-attack than be on the front foot. And I feel like Leeds can struggle with that a bit because they do leave so much space in behind when they're coming forward. Yeah. All their players come forward at the same time, and they use a lot of energy as well. So late in games, they can maybe get a bit tired.
I say that Leeds don't change the way they play for anyone, but do you feel that in this kind of game, maybe Bielsa will take a bit more of a pragmatic approach?
If he was smart, he probably would do, but I don't think he will. I think he's going to come for the win. I think that's what they've done pretty much the whole season. They're on a high after 2 wins in a row, beating Burnley 1-0 and West Brom 5-0. Especially that game against West Brom, everything they hit seemed to go in. It was like they were just on fire.
They were 4-0 up by half time.
Yeah, and their attacking players: Rafinha, Rodrigo, Bamford, Harrison, all tricky, quick players who definitely all have an eye for goal as well, and they're all in good form. And Bamford especially up front, he's had a few chances at various clubs in the Premier League, never really come off for him. But this is the first time in the Premier League he's really seems to hit the ground running and actually make a big effect.
And that actually really surprised me because I watched him quite a bit in the Championship last year and I just wasn't impressed whatsoever. I really wasn't impressed. Bielsa kept persisting with Bamford last year. I know he scored quite a few goals in the Championship, but I just never was impressed with him as a footballer and watching him play, and I thought the step up to the Premier League would be way too much for him. And I felt that Nketiah was on loan there last season and he kept favouring Bamford over Nketiah, and I thought, what are you doing? Because every time Nketiah played for Leeds last season, he seemed to score or do some good stuff for them, and they kept persisting with Bamford, and Bielsa and Bamford have completely proved me wrong because he's really had a good season this year. 10 goals in the Premier League.
Smashing it out.
Massive return for a team like Leeds, first year in the Premier League. So all credit to Bielsa, all credit to Bamford because he's really playing well this season and proving that he's here to stay, Bamford, in the Premier League. And if let's say they were to go down, I don't think they will go down, but let's say they were to go down, he would stay in the Premier League, Bamford.
I think at this current rate, someone will probably take a chance on him for sure. I don't think that at the moment they're not really at risk of going down. They're currently sitting, I believe, 11th in the league.
Yeah.
So they're doing all right in the league.
No, they won't go down. They won't go down.
They're
maybe second season syndrome, but not this season.
In terms of form, last 5 games they've won 3, lost 2. So you look, Leeds are very, very up and down. You kind of know what you're going to get and you don't know what you're going to get at the same time. It's a bit of a strange situation because you know how they're going to play, but you don't know which leads are going to turn up, kind of thing. But you know, look at their goal.
I think it all depends on how the opponent stifles them. I really think that. I think their attacking players is going to be always there, but if you stifle them, they can't really figure a way around it.
And I believe their players, especially defensive players, are not as good as their attacking players in terms of quality. So if you can stifle their attack, they're going to leave gaps at the back. Yeah. That's for sure. They're going to leave gaps because of personnel and because of tactics, how they play. So I'm confident if we deploy how we know how to set up against these kind of teams, I think we can get a lot of joy because against teams like Palace and against teams like Wolves, they're a lot more defensively adept than the Leeds are. They're a lot more likely to keep you out if you're not flooding players forward. However, Spurs on the counter, even if they don't have streams of players forward, there should still be gaps for Son and Kane and whoever else to exploit.
If Son and Kane play anywhere like what they've played so far this season, I know they've gone a bit of a dip the last couple of games, but on a whole, the way that they've been playing this season, there's goals in this completely for us. I think that if we keep it tight at the back, don't give Leeds any kind of room, like we haven't been conceding chances from open play. So if we carry on in that sort of vein and no mishaps from kind of set pieces and stuff, I think we should win this game comfortably. I really do.
One player I think we should definitely be wary of is Calvin Phillips in the centre because he does a really good defensive job for them in the midfield, and I actually think he's more adept to stopping someone like Ndombele than a lot of the other centre mids are because he's just a bit stronger. He's a bit more technically gifted as well, so he might have more joy up against Ndombele than some other centre mids have had, but I think Ndombele can beat anyone on his day.
If we win that midfield battle and we override him in the middle of the park, then the game is there for the taking, 100,000,000%. Because if we can kind of eliminate that fact of Calvin Phillips and him being their best kind of defensive threat, then like I said again, we should win this game comfortably.
Yeah, I'm expecting us to win. I'm expecting Mourinho to know exactly how to hurt Leeds. I'm expecting Leeds to come and try and play their game and try and get the points in this one. And they only really know one way of playing, and Mourinho is going to know that. So I think we should be okay in this one. I'm hoping as well the fact that the Fulham game got called off maybe gives us a bit more rest. So we have that in our advantage. So maybe we don't have to rest as many players for this one as we thought originally. So that could definitely work in our advantage. And I'm confident that we can definitely get back to winning ways in this one. But if Leeds turn up, it's going to be a difficult game because if they are on song, they can take on the best in the league. They really can. They can take on anyone on their day. That's the worry.
I think it's well up. Our defence need to be bang on it on the weekend. They really do. And if any sort of slips, any sort of errors, they're going to be there to pressure us and get the goals because we know they can do it. So we need our defence to play like they have been all season pretty much, or since that West Ham game anyway. Don't give Leeds any spare change going forward. Defend like we know we can. Don't give them any chances from open play. Improve massively from set pieces. And if our defence is on point, we win this game.
I completely agree. If our defence makes no mistakes, no stupid individual errors, I believe from set pieces they're not as strong as they are from open play.
Although Bamford is a threat aerially.
He's a big, tall striker, but he's not strong. I'd back Alderweireld and Dyer up against him, but not say against like Benteke. They got bullied, but I reckon they could handle Bamford. But from open play is our forte, so that could definitely play into our advantage if they're not getting as many chances from set pieces. We know with their wingers, they're always going to be tricky. We can't allow them space. But if we stop them from playing and kind of clog up the centre of the pitch and make sure we cut off the passing lanes, make sure we cut off the quick transitions in the passing, and then we make quick turnovers going forward on the counter attack, I think we should be okay. But I can see this maybe being a tighter game, maybe being a 1-0, 2-0 kind of thing. I don't think there's going to be goals galore in it because I think Mourinho's going to know that he's going to want to shut up shop a bit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if there's going to be goals galore in any of our games for the remainder of the season.
Well,
to be fair,
we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes.
The way Jose's setting us up at the moment, I mean, I imagine Jose's going to try and tell them to win this game in the first half an hour or so.
Leeds can actually go level on points with us if they win.
I know.
Didn't realise that. Bloody hell.
But we do have a game in hand on them, though.
We do have a game in hand, and if we win, we're pushing into the top 3, depending on other results. But it's imperative, absolutely imperative we get back to winning ways, especially as we missed the opportunity on Wednesday to kind of...
That's 4 games.
Yeah, but I think we missed the opportunity against Fulham. We didn't miss it, but it's taken away from us to kind of get back on to winning ways because it got called off. And I think the players will probably are not happy about it because I think they want to play. They want to just get the monkey off their back a bit. And I think Leeds gives a good opportunity, but we need to make sure we're on top of our game because if we're slacking off or we're not 100% on it or sharp, Leeds have potential to run over you, and that's what they've done to some teams this season. So we've got to make sure that we're definitely on our game. And what I would say is maybe Leeds are benefiting right now from the Christmas period because that's where Pochettino used to benefit a lot from. We always used to have very good records over this time of year. So maybe this kind of tactic is beneficial to that, whereas you would thought using a lot of energy might not be, but maybe it is more beneficial than you would think. Yeah,
because maybe some teams are tiring out at this stage of the season, a lot of games. So a team with a lot of energy will have a lot of joy. I think it does make sense. But you're coming up against a team in 11th spot with the worst defensive record in the league, I think, bar West Brom. So there are definitely goals in it for us, 100%.
The third best attack, fourth best attack.
Exactly, there's definitely goals in it for us, but we've got one of the best defence, if not the best defence in the league. I think bar Aston Villa.
No, City and Villa, yeah.
Yeah, so we've got one of the best defences. They've got one of the worst defences. So I think it is going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game of football. I believe that Jose is going to go out there and try and win it in the first half. Hopefully we can get a couple of goals. If we do get a couple of goals in the first half, then we're going to see us sit back for the remainder of the second half, and hopefully Leeds won't get any spare change out of us. It's going to be big for Dyer and Toby Alderweireld and Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. They're going to have a big task on their hands on Sunday, and I think they'll prevail. I'm going to go for 2-0 Spurs.
I'm going to go 3-1.
3-1.
3-1.
Who's going to get goals?
I'm going to go for Kane to get 2, and I'm going to go for Ndombele to get another one.
Ndombele, another one.
Yeah, why not?
I'm going to go for Kane and Sonny to get 2. Sonny's got to get back on the score sheet. He hasn't scored in a while.
It's true.
So yeah, I'm going for Sonny to get back in it. Let me know your score predictions in the comment section below. Let me hear your comments on all things regarding Tottenham Hotspur against Leeds on Sunday. Happy New Year to all of you guys out there. Happy 2021. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.